Have you ever looked at an ordinary breakfast in your kitchen and wondered whether it is quietly pressing your kidneys harder each day? And what if the danger is not a rare toxin at all, but something familiar you may have used this morning without worry? I am a kidney doctor.
Welcome, I'm Dr. Adeyemi.
And I'm Dr. Wilson.
As your doctors, we're here to help you navigate your kidney care journey with confidence and expertise.
And without jargon,
Good morning, everyone.
because this
Starting your
matters.
day with a healthy
I will show you the
breakfast is
daily
essential.
culprit, its
Prioritizing
disguises,
protein
and why
and whole
repetition
grains can make a
matters.
big difference.
It adds up quietly. That is the trap. Stay with me, because near the end, I will share one 10-second kitchen tip. Welcome, and thank you for being here. Your kidneys can lose ground for years before your body speaks clearly. That is the danger. As a nephrologist, I try to stop kidney disease before people are forced to notice it. One of the hardest clinic moments is meeting someone careful, organized, and sincere who thought their routine was harmless. Then the lab results arrive, and the story changes. Kidneys are quiet workers
results
that
came
do
in,
several
and they're
vital
looking
jobs
positive.
every minute,
Well, actually,
day
there's a
and
slight
night
discrepancy we
without
need to
asking for
discuss.
attention.
We're seeing some
They
elevated
filter
markers
waste,
that are concerning.
balance fluids,
kidneys are
help
vital
regulate
organs,
pressure,
responsible
and support the
for
body
filtering
far
waste,
beyond urination
balancing
alone.
fluids,
They
and
usually do
regulating
not
blood
fail
pressure.
with a dramatic signal. Early damage often builds while the outside of life still looks normal. That silence is costly after 50, and often even more costly after 60. With age, the kidneys lose reserve, so repeated strain matters more than it once did. A habit your body tolerated at 40 can carry a different price at 65. That smaller margin is easy to forget in daily life. This is where many older adults get misled. They think danger must look extreme, reckless, or obviously unhealthy. But kidney stress often begins inside ordinary routines that feel familiar, quick, and even sensible. What concerns me most is not one dramatic meal. It is the steady daily load of added sugar, often delivered through fast breakfast foods and drinks, not only candy or dessert. It can hide in flavored yogurt, boxed cereal, sweet coffee, bottled juice, bread, jam, and instant oatmeal. That is why people miss it. These foods may look small or convenient, yet they can repeat the same burden with consistency. Blood sugar rises quickly, and the body has to answer. And when that cycle keeps happening, the kidneys keep living with the downstream metabolic pressure. Many adults do not think about kidney disease until swelling, fatigue, foamy urine, or abnormal labs finally appear. By then, the body is not beginning the conversation. It is catching up. Age changes the
The
rules
results
in
show
another
the
way.
progression is much
After
further
60,
along than your
many
symptoms
people
indicated.
are also carrying higher blood pressure,
I don't understand.
diabetes risk, extra abdominal weight, less movement, or several daily medicines. In that setting, it stops looking minor. It becomes a multiplier. Here is the link in plain language. Meals that spike blood sugar too often can push insulin resistance and worsen diabetes over time. High blood sugar can damage kidney filters and the tiny vessels that feed them. Sugar-heavy processed eating patterns are also linked to weight gain and poorer pressure control. And those roads connect. Because diabetes and high blood pressure are two of the most common causes of kidney decline. And many people never connect that chain back to breakfast. So when I warn people about a daily kitchen poison, I am not talking about a mysterious chemical. I am talking about familiar sweetness
Kidney
that no
health is
longer feels
crucial,
sweet enough
especially
to
with
seem
diabetes.
dangerous. The morning
Monitor
coffee
your
drink
blood
that
pressure
tastes
diligently
gentle at
to
first
prevent
glance,
serious
and the
complications.
cereal, toast, jam, or juice that seem harmless. Together, they can create a daily metabolic push that older kidneys may feel before you do. This is not about fear, and it is not about perfection. It is about updated rules for an older body. Your kidneys are delicate filters that depend on steady blood flow and a calmer internal environment. When mornings keep starting with hidden sweetness and fast refined starch, those filters can work under avoidable strain for years, quietly, until the cost appears. In a moment,
I understand
will show
your
you
concerns,
exactly
but we
what
have
this
a practical
daily kitchen
plan.
poison looks like and where it hides.
Thank you.
will
I
also
feel much
show you
better
why
now.
older adults are more vulnerable now, and which protective shift matters most before damage becomes advanced. And near the end of the main body, I will give you one practical 10-second check to use in your kitchen every morning. After 50, the kidneys still work hard, but they no longer enjoy the same margin for daily abuse. That is the part many people never hear. They think danger must arrive as one dramatic illness, one severe pain, or one obvious medical crisis. But kidney stress often builds the opposite way, through ordinary routines repeated so often that the body stops protesting out loud. That is why this daily kitchen poison is so dangerous. It is not one mysterious chemical. It is the repeated pattern of sugar, refined flour, and fast-digesting processed foods that enter the day looking normal, convenient, and even comforting. Sweet cereal, white toast with jam, pastries, crackers, flavored yogurt, packaged snack bars, sweet coffee drinks, frozen breakfast sandwiches, and many so-called light snacks can all move in the same direction. They hit fast. They digest fast. They raise demands on the body fast. The problem is not only the food itself, it is the pattern. When a meal or snack breaks down quickly, blood sugar can rise faster than the body handles comfortably, especially in older adults whose metabolic flexibility is not what it used to be. The pancreas has to answer. Insulin has to answer. Blood vessels feel that turbulence. Over time, that repeated strain can help drive insulin resistance, weight gain around the middle, rising blood pressure, and the slow chain of events that burdens kidney filters long before a person ever thinks of nephrology. And the kidneys are caught in the middle of that traffic every day. People often imagine kidney trouble as a water problem alone. In real life, it is often a pressure problem, a blood vessel problem, and a sugar handling problem traveling together. That is why someone can feel fine while the kidneys are working under harder and harder conditions. The daily kitchen poison does not need to look dangerous. It only needs to look ordinary enough to be repeated. That is the trap. How many adults are damaging their kidneys every morning without ever realizing the danger is already sitting in their own kitchen? If this was your first real warning today, comment "protect" right now, and let that one word stay with you as a daily reminder to make smarter choices before silent damage has the chance to grow. A useful shift begins with speed. Ask which foods in your kitchen break down quickly, leave you hungry again soon, and make the morning depend on another snack not long after. Those are often the foods that look small but act loud inside the body. Slowing the plate down with more fiber, more protein, and less refined starch can reduce that daily surge. And that leads to the next disguise. The same kitchen pattern often hides behind sodium. Many adults think the sugar problem and the salt problem belong in separate conversations. In the kitchen, they often travel together inside the same processed foods. Packaged breads, deli meats, canned soups, instant noodles, frozen meals, savory crackers, bottled sauces, and convenient sandwiches may not even taste extremely salty, yet they can still push daily sodium intake higher than people realize. That matters because sodium does not just sit quietly in the meal. It changes fluid balance and can help drive blood pressure upward. That pressure reaches the kidneys directly. If the kidney filters are delicate strainers, high blood pressure is like forcing more force through those strainers day after day. The damage is not always loud at first, but repeated pressure can scar the filtering units over time, making it harder for the kidneys to do their job cleanly. Now add that pressure burden to the blood sugar swings created by refined carbohydrates, and the kidneys are no longer facing one problem. They are facing a team. That is why processed food is such a convincing liar. It can be sweet, salty, soft, shelf-stable, and easy to grab, all while looking like a practical solution for busy mornings or tired evenings. A person may say, "I do not even eat much dessert." But if breakfast is white bread, lunch is packaged soup, the afternoon is crackers, and dinner is a frozen meal, the kidneys may still spend the whole day under metabolic and pressure stress. The danger hides in accumulation. A simple protective move here is label vision. Stop scanning the front of the package first. The front is marketing. The side panel tells the truth. Look at sodium before you trust words like wholesome, multigrain, light, lean, or smart. One packaged item can carry enough sodium to turn a supposedly easy meal into a blood pressure burden, especially when several processed foods are stacked together in the same day. Then make one swap, not 10. Choose one meal you repeat often and replace the most processed part of it with something closer to real food. A bowl of plain oats can do a very different job than a sweetened instant pastry. Yogurt without added sweetness behaves differently than dessert disguised as breakfast. A simple sandwich built at home with fewer packaged extras often lands lighter than a boxed convenience meal. But food is not the only amplifier. What you do after eating matters more than many people think. A sedentary routine does not create the kitchen poison, but it can make that poison hit harder and linger longer. When the day becomes chair, car, sofa, and bed, muscles stop serving as active helpers for blood sugar control. Glucose stays in the bloodstream more stubbornly. Weight tends to rise more easily. Blood pressure control can become less forgiving. Circulation loses some of its natural rhythm. The same fast breakfast that might have been handled better years ago now leaves a heavier metabolic footprint. Stillness becomes an accomplice. This is why two people can eat similar foods and age very differently. One body gets regular signals to use fuel, move blood, and stay responsive. The other spends long stretches in metabolic traffic. Over months and years, that difference matters. It matters at the waistline. It matters at the blood pressure cuff. And it matters deep inside the kidney filters, where repeated strain is rarely announced with an early warning siren. Many retirees fall into this quietly. The morning starts with toast, cereal, or a packaged muffin. Then comes long sitting. Then comes another snack because the earlier meal did not hold steady. By afternoon, the body has spent hours riding quick rises, quick dips, and low movement. That pattern may feel harmless because it feels familiar, but familiar does not mean gentle. A practical correction is small and powerful. After meals, move a little. Not perfectly, just reliably. A short walk through the house, a few minutes outside, light chores, or even repeated standing and marching in place can help muscles pull glucose out of the bloodstream more effectively. The goal is not athletic performance, it is metabolic cleanup. Even a modest movement habit can make the daily kitchen poison less disruptive. And there is one more support lane people miss. Some adults place extra strain on their kidneys through a habit that does not come from the pantry but often sits right beside it. Frequent NSAID use deserves respect. Pain relievers such as ibuprofen and naproxen can seem harmless because they are common, familiar, and easy to buy. For many people, they become routine partners to arthritis, back pain, headaches, or old injuries. But the kidneys depend on healthy blood flow to keep filtering well, and frequent NSAID use can interfere with that blood flow, especially when someone is older, dehydrated, already living with high blood pressure, or carrying early kidney disease without knowing it. Now the picture gets more serious. If a person is already eating a daily pattern that pushes blood sugar up, raises weight, and supports higher blood pressure, the kidneys are already working in a tougher environment. Add frequent NSAID use on top of that, especially during hot weather, illness, poor fluid intake, or long days of processed meals, and kidney reserve can be squeezed from another direction. This is how daily damage becomes layered rather than isolated. One burden multiplies another. That does not mean every pain pill is forbidden. It means casual routine matters. If pain medicine has become a frequent habit, it deserves a real conversation with a clinician or pharmacist, especially for adults over 60 or anyone with diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, or a history of kidney trouble. A safer plan is often possible, but many people never review the habit because the bottle is common and the warning feels distant. Do not leave it unexamined. And now we come back to the main enemy, because this is where the deepest damage logic lives. Sugar, refined flour, and fast-digesting processed kitchen foods are so dangerous to aging kidneys because they attack from more than one side at once. They do not simply raise blood sugar for an hour and leave. Repeated exposure can help push the whole internal environment in the wrong direction. More insulin demand, more insulin resistance, more belly fat, more inflammatory signaling, more blood pressure trouble, more wear on blood vessels, more opportunity for diabetes and hypertension to travel together. That combination is hard on kidneys. The kidneys filter blood through tiny structures that depend on stable circulation and healthy small blood vessels. High blood sugar can damage those vessels over time. High blood pressure can damage them too. Extra body weight often worsens both. Chronic inflammation adds more stress to the system. When refined carbohydrates and added sugars keep showing up in everyday foods, they become the quiet fuel behind several of the biggest kidney threats at once. This is why the kitchen poison feels invisible. It does not announce itself as poison. It arrives as comfort food, convenience food, breakfast food, reward food, or food that feels too small to matter. A sweet coffee drink can look like a beverage, not dessert. A bowl of sugary cereal can look lighter than eggs, though it may hit the bloodstream much faster. White crackers can seem safer than chips, even when they still act like refined starch and invite more hunger soon after. Processed food does not need to be dramatic to be damaging. It only needs to be easy, frequent, and trusted. And many people trust it daily. Another reason this poison wins so often is that it borrows the image of health. Many processed foods wear a calm disguise. They say whole grain, low fat, heart smart, light, or made with fruit. Yet a food can carry a healthy-looking label and still deliver a fast carbohydrate load with added sugars and very little staying power. That is why older adults get misled so easily. They are not being careless. They are being marketed to. And when the package looks disciplined, the daily repetition feels justified, which makes the kidney burden easier to miss for years. The body remembers repetition more than intention. A person can mean well and still build a harmful pattern simply because the same quick foods keep solving the same rushed moments. What feels efficient today can become expensive to the kidneys over the years. That is the hidden long-term cost. One common scene says everything. An older adult starts the day with sweetened cereal or toast made from refined bread, maybe with juice or flavored coffee. 2 hours later, hunger returns. Energy drops. Another snack follows, often another packaged starch. Lunch is quick and processed. The afternoon brings more sitting, more fatigue, and maybe a salty convenience meal at night. Nothing in that day feels extreme. Yet the kidneys have spent the whole day exposed to quick glucose swings, pressure support from sodium, low movement, and the background strain that encourages long-term filter damage. That is how ordinary becomes harmful. The protective answer is not fear eating. It is pattern interruption. Build meals that digest more slowly and ask less of the kidney's support systems. That usually means fewer liquid sugars, fewer sweetened packaged foods, fewer refined flour staples, and more real food that brings fiber, protein, and steadier energy. Think plain oatmeal instead of sweet pastry. Think eggs, beans, nuts, or unsweetened yogurt instead of a dessert like breakfast bar. Think whole fruit instead of juice. Think water, unsweetened tea, or plain coffee instead of sweet bottled drinks. Keep it simple enough to repeat. And here is the fresh 10-second tip I want you to remember. Before the first bite of any meal or snack, pause and ask, where's the sugar and where is the protein? That one question can change buying, cooking, and portion decisions almost instantly. If the answer is obvious sugar and almost no protein, the food is more likely to hit fast, fade fast, and send the body back into the same stressful loop. That quick scan is not perfect. It is powerful. Use it in the pantry. Use it at breakfast. Use it in the grocery aisle. Over time, that one tiny pause can help you choose foods that are steadier for blood sugar, kinder to blood pressure, and less punishing to the kidneys. That is how real prevention often works in everyday life. Not through one heroic moment, but through a repeated decision that turns the kitchen from a source of quiet strain into a place of protection. What matters most is this. The daily kitchen poison is usually not one dramatic food. It is the repeated pattern of sugar, refined flour, and processed convenience foods that seem normal enough to trust. Over time, that pattern can help drive the same forces that kidneys struggle with most. Unstable blood sugar, rising blood pressure, extra body weight, inflammation, and slow filter stress. Add hidden sodium, too much sitting, or careless pain pill habits, and the burden grows more quietly than most people expect. But this is not a message of doom. It is a message of timing, awareness, and daily control. Kidney disease is not destiny, and your kitchen is not beyond repair. The most dangerous part of this pattern is also the most changeable part, because it lives inside repeated choices that can be interrupted one meal at a time. Start there. Small, repeated changes matter more than one burst of motivation that fades when kitchen life crowds in. You do not need a perfect diet by tonight. You need one cleaner decision you can repeat. Read one label before buying it. Replace one sweet drink with water or unsweetened tea. Trade one refined breakfast for a steadier meal with protein and fiber. Then build from that small win. That is how the body is protected. Quietly, consistently, without drama. And please remember this too. You were not foolish for trusting foods that looked ordinary. Most people were never warned clearly that common packaged meals, snacks, and drinks could slowly burden aging kidneys in this way. Now you know more. And that knowledge gives you room to act with calm, not guilt. If this message could help someone you love, please share it with them. Subscribe if you want more clear, practical guidance like this. And comment protect if you are ready to make one smarter kitchen choice starting today. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of your kidneys, take small steps seriously, and keep choosing the habits that protect your future. I will see you in the next one.